So, Arsenal fans, tell me, how are you feeling after that 1-0 loss away at the San Siro to Inter Milan? And Inter Milan, that was much changed, had a lot of B team players. Some people have said a lot of rotation. They've got a big game happening this weekend, apparently. So they thought, you know what, let's rest the big guns. And you can look at that in one of two ways. On the Inter positive side, you can say, well, Inter were that confident that they were going to get something from this game that they didn't need to risk their big players, so they just left them on the bench, and the team that started got the job done one way or another. Or you could look at it from the Arsenal side, where this Inter team didn't want to play, so they decided to park the bus and hope for the best. Well, as it turns out, they parked the bus in the second half especially, and they got the result 1-0. The penalty to Çalhanoğlu, well, some will argue, was it even a penalty? Arm was out so close in terms of proximity. And then they also had the question mark on the punch from Sommer to clear the ball, that he actually got Moreno as well in that exchange. But they said, no, you got the ball first. Any subsequent action is just a result of him just punching the ball and Moreno just being in the same place. Goalkeepers do get a bit of leniency, so you say, you know what, okay, that wasn't a pen. But then Arteta come out after and he said, well, the Moreno penalty was not a handball. That was not penalty for me. But if you give that a penalty, then you have to give the punch from Sommer onto Moreno as a penalty as well. Didn't happen at all. So finished 1-0, the main stat there in the game. Inter 1, Arsenal 0, 2 back-to-back losses away from home against Newcastle in the Premier League and now against Inter in the Champions League. And one man who was very happy about this is someone who said Arsenal, Inter are your daddy, as he said last season and continued this season. Let's hear what Footy Judgmo said at full time after this shithousery result that resulted in a win for Inter.
And the final whistle, you frauds! I told you, bro, easy work. Bro, you huffed and puffed. Corner FC, that's all you did. Literally, all what Arsenal did is corner FC. You try to do set pieces, try to cross. You haven't created anything.
If you can see that on screen there, corner kicks 0 for Inter, corner kicks 13 for Arsenal. It was a barrage of corners.
Reality speaking, let's be honest, you haven't created any chance. The only one that fell to Havertz was a deflection from a shit cross, right? By somebody. That's all you did. Everything that you did is literally just simple.
That was Mo celebrating. Light work, he says. Well, if defending at home is light work, I mean, I wouldn't want to see Liverpool play defensive football at Anfield ever, because we're the home team. We're going to take the game to you. But I suppose once you've got the goal, you don't have to go gung-ho and keep attacking, because as we've seen Arsenal away to Man City, yes, they were a player down. We understand that. But when they got the point there because they defended for their lives, people said, oh, fantastic point, well done, resilient football, really played well. But when Inter do it, they park the bus, it's defensive, they're doing dirty fouls, it's dark arts, etc., etc. So when Arsenal do it, it's okay. But then when somebody else does it, hey, now we have problems. But that's just me speaking on that front there. The other thing we need to look at in a bit more depth, as we alluded to it just before with Mo, are the stats here, because in this second half alone, the first half was pretty 50-50, nothing really going on apart from the penalty shout for Moreno and then the penalty that was given for a handball on Moreno. 13 shots in that second half, 2 on target, 2 big chances missed for Arsenal. I remember there was the Havertz shot that got blocked. I think it was, I don't know if it was Dumfries or if it was Bisek on the in the defensive line there. In the first half as well, there was a clearance off the line, so that was probably a first half chance. Nothing really happened. The overall game, though, clearly, like, it was at least good for a draw. Maybe Arsenal realistically should have nicked a goal or two, but 20 shots, only 4 on target, that's pretty poor. Almost doubling the passes. Okay, doubling the passes. 13 corners to none. So a lot of people are saying corners FC, which is why I say in the thumbnail cornered. Like, how do you go away from home and bag away 13 corners and not have one of them hit any of your defenders? I know one missed Saliba's head by like millimeters, or he just completely fluffed the lines, but this is why people said, like, you can't do this football. This football is not sustainable. Doing this is not going to get you any consecutive wins. It's not going to get you guaranteed goals. But like away, you do it once or twice, maybe. It worked at Tottenham, fair enough. It worked at City, fair enough. But to rely on that because you don't have a striker. After many Arsenal fans said, look, we need a striker. Nobody's bringing a striker in. Now Edu's gone. So who's going to come in to replace him as a sporting director or whatever he was at Arsenal? We shall see. Apparently someone that Arteta has hand chosen, which means that maybe they're looking at continuing with him forward, even if he doesn't win any majors this season, which would be a massive red flag if I was an Arsenal fan. But that's how that story ends for the moment. You just don't know. No play moving forward, no striker. Havertz is not here. Gabriel Jesus is unreliable. Saka ain't really creating much. Martinelli's not it on the left wing as well. Odegaard needs to come back, but even if Odegaard, or rather when Odegaard comes back, which he had a little bit of a cameo at the end of that game, when he does come back, is he going to have the same impact as he had before his injury? We may have to wait and see what happens. Things can definitely change. It's only the start of November. There's a long way to go till the end of May, let alone till the end of the year. And then once we see what happens when we get to the end of the year, things may change. Will Arsenal buy some players? We'll see what happens on Arsenal's part there. But in terms of the refereeing performances, I know Arsenal have had a lot of complaints regarding referees, but it just seems that it's becoming a bit of a meme now where anything doesn't go right in Arsenal's favour and there's a refereeing incident that you can gravitate towards, they're going to go for that. None more so than Don Robert Lyle of AFTV, who says the ref was so bad he should be in the Premier League with a dislike ratio of 1.8 dislikes to 1.2 likes. It has received more dislikes than likes. Again, when you're doing this away from home, 20 shots, 4 on target, I'm pointing fingers at the players on the pitch. I'm pointing fingers at Arteta, who was lucky to remain on the pitch, by the by, because he interfered with the play, got a yellow card, could have been a red card, but in any ways, 20. If this was like 4 shots, 2 on target, 5 shots, 1 on target, say fairly even game, what do? The dominance. This dominance away from home at the San Siro, to not have one go in the back of the net is criminal. You should be pointing fingers at your players, not at the referee. Some of these comments here, expressions in the comments, of course. Always complaining about referees, you walking Malteser. Into Park to Bus. Now you know how the rest of the Premier League teams feel when they play Arsenal. Route 1, Park the Bus, aerial bombardment, play for set pieces, all around, feign injuries, waste time, the usual Farteta tactics. It's so sweet seeing Arsenal get done twice by the same tactics from Newcastle and Inter. It's a bit crazy. Robbie went full time mode today. Not being funny, but this is exactly why rival fans hate our fans. Why are you doing blatant PR for the club? You should be careful because this channel was built on real, unfiltered reactions. But now, just because you get access to the club, it doesn't mean you should lie to yourself and the fans. You don't win the number of corners or crosses we get. Yeah, you don't win by those number of crosses, 100%. Yeah, interested 5 first-team players, bigger fish to fry, rocked up there. And Arsenal got nothing. Audacity to say Inter was scared because they defended, but when Arsenal defend for their lives every week, it's tactical masterclass. Yeah, it's nonsense. Their backs to the wall. Yeah, absolutely. But this ratio here, that is crazy. That's getting peak. Now, obviously, with this result out of the way now, they focus on to the weekend where they play Chelsea. And Arteta, after the game, said, the way we play tonight against Inter, the team can go to Chelsea and win. That is mad. I don't know how Arsenal fans are feeling about what he said here, but that is crazy. Some of the comments here, I read Clinical. He's becoming unbearable. I can't lie. I'd be surprised if Arsenal fans even like him at the moment. Chelsea should use this as an opportunity to beat them. We'll be back to this tweet. We must do the funniest thing on Sunday. I think that's Chelsea fan with Nkunku there and beat Arsenal. Yeah, you have a chance to do something beautiful. This is becoming a little bit peak now. It's almost comical to the point where you're wondering, has Arteta not lost it, but is he trying to do dark arts and what's what I'm looking for? Not dark arts. Bloody hell, there's a word for it. Mind games. Trying to do mind games with everybody else. I mean, look, these stats, yes, you'd fancy that you'd be banging at least 1 or 2 of those in, scoring some goals, but I don't know if this is it, man. The way they play tonight against Inter, the team can go to Chelsea and win. Chelsea are not going to be playing backwards and forwards football, man. They're going to sit and wait. If Cole Palmer is fit, if they have Jackson there, Caicedo, Lavia, etc., I think they're going to do the business. And I don't mean that by win, but they're going to do the business on the pitch and do what they have to do to try and get a result from this game. So that's a bit crazy for him to say these sorts of things. It's mad. It's mad. Go on, Chelsea. Give him a pasting. pride will make Arsenal relegate this season. If Arsenal fails to win anything this season, then we'll come to conclusion that this project at Arsenal was a failure. It's pretty crazy that he said that. It's mad. And a lot of things happening as well. Arteta says Arsenal's 1-0 defeat by Inter was their best performance in Europe for years. That's crazy. The worst thing of the night for sure is the result, because the performance, the dominance that we showed against one of the best teams in Europe in this stadium, I haven't seen in all the other games that I've watched. That's mad. That is crazy that he said that. Yep, going to go to Chelsea and win the same way they played. Absolute madness. It's a penalty. The one on Mikel Merino where Sommer punched him in the head, that has to be 1,000% a penalty. It's difficult to accept that Arsenal were not awarded a penalty against Inter Milan. Well, that's what happened, so you deal with it. But like I said, this tells a different picture altogether. It's not like he had 5 shots and it was a contentious decision where you can say, you know what, okay, the referee didn't give us probably something we deserve. But again, you'd be pointing the fingers at Arsenal saying, what did you do to win the game? Why didn't you score the goals you needed to overcome this deficit? Didn't happen. So there you have it. Arteta doing the business in the post matches as well. So Arsenal fans, where are you at right now? I'm not talking about you're going to come good when Odegaard gets back to fitness and Havertz starts banging a goal or two here and there. Martinelli may try to get a goal. I mean, how are you feeling right now the way you guys are playing? That's what I want to know. Because as it stands, behind in the league in so many points, not really doing it in Europe at the moment. It is looking a little bit sticky. Have Arsenal stagnated? Do Arsenal need to do something different? Is Arteta the man to take us forward? Are you going to bring in anybody in January? What is he going to do to fix this little slump that you guys are in right now? And that's where I leave this video. Nick from the Football Club signing off.